For the love of all things holy, please stop buying out the toilet paper. Hi friends, my name is B. Carter, and today, which I'm sure that you can tell by the title, we're going to be talking about the Springfield Three. They were a group of 3 ladies who were abducted from Springfield, Missouri in 1992. So please feel free, because while we're doing that, we're going to do this to my face and put this on my eyeballs. Success. Today we're going to talk about the Springfield Three. Once I get my shit together, that is. Oh, and this case is just sort of just such a mystery. But I feel like if there hadn't have been like certain interruption at the beginning, it may have been like solved and whatever. So the Springfield Three, they went missing on June 7th in 1992. They are called the Springfield Three because there's 3 of them. Shocker. So basically it was Suzanne or Susie Streeter, Stacy McCall, and Streeter's mother, so Susie's mother, who was Sherrill Levitt. So this is the thing, right, that I got from them. They were all quite small, like little ladies. Not that I'm any bigger than they are, but I'm considered relatively small also. So they were all quite little, like little chicks. So it's kind of so Suzanne was 19 years old. She was 5'2" and she weighed 46 kilos. That's small. Like I'm 5'4", and I do not weigh 46 kilos. So Stacy was 18 years old and she was 5'3" and 54 kilos. And so like they're little. And Sherrill wasn't really that much shorter either. She was 5 foot and she was 50 kilos. So like they were all little ladies, you know. Like they all seem pretty cute too. They're like adorable, really. I'm rambling. It's basically, this part's gonna make me laugh, and I don't want it to make me laugh because this is such a serious case and it's such a serious thing because they are still missing. They've like, it's unsolved. They were never found. Susie and Stacy graduated from Kickapoo High School on June 6th. So the day before, they were reported missing, basically. So they graduated on June 6th, and they went out to parties and stuff. They went out to graduation parties. They were meant to stay at their other friend's house. Her name was Janelle Kirby. But they decided that it was too crowded for them and they didn't want to stay. They were supposed to be going to a water park with everyone the next day. So they were like, oh, we'll just go back to my house, which was Susie's house, and stay, and then their friends were going to come and get them in the morning. So they left Janelle's house at about 2 a.m, okay, on June 7th. And they were basically supposed to be up and ready and good to go and raring by 9 a.m. Now, when it comes to Sherrill, the last time anyone heard from Sherrill was at 11 p.m. She was talking to a friend on the phone about painting an armoire, which I think is a really fancy word for a wardrobe. I got a new powder. We're going to try it. It says translucent, but then it also says medium. Like, why would it need to be medium if it's translucent? Oh, God. It says on it, right, line defying. It's not, because I got some lines under those eyes, bro. So, the next morning, Susie's best friend, now, I apologize if I say this wrong, Nigel, left her a message in the morning, just could kind of be like, when are we meeting at the water park, and blah. And she basically kind of didn't really get a response. Stacy's mum also called, this was kind of before the time where everybody had like mobile phones and stuff, so it's not like you could just shoot her a text or look up her GPS location. Like shit wasn't like that. So basically after that, Janelle Kirby and her boyfriend were the first to arrive at the house because they were supposed to pick them up to go to this water park. That was the deal. If you recall, they were supposed to be staying at Janelle's house the night before. So Janelle was supposed to pick them up for the water park. So all three girls' cars were there. But this is the thing that Nigel said, is that she was like, Susie always parked in the same place, in the same situation. She's very like OCD about that, where she parked her car. And she was like, where her car was parked is not where she would have parked it. So that's super interesting, I think. So Janelle Kirby and her boyfriend were the first to show up, and she said all the three girls' cars were there. They knocked, they didn't get anything. The porch lamp had smashed. But they kind of, I suppose innocently, I mean, was it innocently? They say it was innocently. Everybody believes that it was innocently, but was it? I mean, at this point, it's what, almost 20 years later. Wait, no, almost 30 years later, because I was born in that year. Saying that makes me cringe. They say innocently they tried to clean up, or they cleaned up the glass, and they put it in a dumpster on the other side of the road. Now again, I'm just being like my usual suspicious self here, but they put it in a dumpster on the other side of the road. Like they took it to, yeah, like why would you innocently sweep up that glass and then take it to a dumpster on the other side of the road? Why would you not, you know, because they entered the house, why would you not put it in the bin inside, or put it in their dumpster, or like there were just so many options other than walking all the way across the street, you know? But again, I don't want to blame anyone, but like it is unsolved, so we're exploring all the options here, okay? I may not have all the facts. That could also be it. The internet is not always fucking reliable. So the porch lamp had smashed. They innocently swept it up, put it in the dumpster across the street. We're assuming they're all innocently. So after that, they go inside. Now they say that they swept up the porch lamp because, you know, Sherrill wouldn't like it if it was glass, and she would have appreciated them cleaning it up. So that's what we're going with. Doesn't look that bad in this mirror, but like with the light, I think. Anyway, so when that happens, so they go inside, Janelle and her boyfriend. They go inside and they found the dog. See, there was actually a couple of conflicting reports here. So it says that they go inside and they find the dog Cinnamon, who is clearly distressed. But then it was like, when they were telling the story from that point on, Stacy's mum Janice was also in the house with them. So some say they went inside and then Janice caught up, and some say they waited until Janice got there, or Janice so happened to arrive. Some says Janice arrived a little while after they went inside the house. Like, I'm not sure. Janice, there was an interview with Janice and she was like, oh, we go inside, but then in a couple of like articles and stuff that I read, it was sort of the other way around. I didn't bring any brow products, so we're not doing brows today. Not that we ever do brows anyway. So that's another thing. There's just, I feel like there's so much that could have been done, you know? Not that I'm like blaming anyone. I'm not in a position to blame anyone, but it's just, I think, a series of unfortunate events. And I do think that if these events did not occur, they would have been found by now. So we're going to go with the story that Janice shows up while Janelle Kirby and her boyfriend are still standing outside the house, and they've just swept up the porch lamp. We're going to go with that story because I feel like that sits more consistently with what I'm about to say next. Honestly, I watched videos, I read articles, and I couldn't seem to get a straight answer on that particular detail. Or maybe I just missed it. I could have just missed it, you know? So basically, they say that they go inside and they find the dog Cinnamon, who was quite clearly distressed in this whole situation. They basically walk in and they notice that all three girls or 2 girls and a lady, whatever, their purses, which we would call handbags, are all perfectly lined up where they would be and where they're expected to have been. Even to the point where Sherrill's cigarettes are still in her bag, and apparently she was like a chain smoker, so she would not have gone anywhere without them. So yeah, the lights were all off, but the TV was on, but it was on static. Like, you know, back in the day, I don't know if millennials, I'm a millennial. I'm not sure if like the younger people will remember this, but back in the day, the TV stopped going at a certain time. So like, if you stayed up all night watching a movie, you would wake up to static at like 3 or 4 in the morning, you know? Like that kind of thing. So I don't know if that's what happened, or maybe they were watching a movie on their VCR or something, because that's what we had back then also. And it goes to static when it finishes. So the TV was on static, and the front door was unlocked. Now, the girls' purses, the girls' handbags all sitting in there obviously suggested that the two girls, Stacy and Susie, that they quite obviously made it home. So they were at the house. So when they were last seen at 2 a.m, leaving their friend's house, they obviously did get home. What happened after they got home is like the mystery of it all, because just nobody knows. So this is where it gets kind of annoying, okay, is that everyone was so adamantly worried, but nobody called the cops. So everyone's freaking out, trying to call everybody, ask where they are, find out where they are, and everybody just kind of assumed that they'd show up, you know? So they had friends at the house, they had family at the house, like they just had people everywhere, and they fucking cleaned the house. They cleaned the house, so they did dishes, and they tidied up, and they did all sorts of shit, and I shit you not, that is and they said that they just didn't think that was going to be the outcome of it, that they were going to be missing people. They were basically just waiting for them to walk back in the door. They did check the answering machine, and they listened to what they described as a strange message, but somehow it was deleted. It was described as lewd content, so like sexual things, and someone just deleted it. Like it wasn't even important, which, you know, like I can't, and I'm not blaming the family by any means. Like I have no idea how I would react if one of my kids had gone missing at a friend's house, or if I couldn't even find their parents. Like, honestly, it would probably be the worst feeling of all time. So I'm not trying to blame, you know, yeah, I've got no idea how I would react, but, you know, it does suck that happened. So, because they obviously do, or the police obviously do strongly believe that something on there could have led them to. So it wasn't actually until 16 hours later that they reported the ladies missing. But because the house is cleaned, simple answer is you can't. Like, there is none. And not only that though, like, I do kind of feel for them, because I mean, it's got to be a sucky feeling for the cops to go, well, you know, they're missing and they've been missing, but we've got no evidence because you're cleaning the house. You know, to think that you were just doing the right thing, just, you know. There was a couple theories that were sprung around. Susie had an ex-boyfriend, you know, it's always the ex-boyfriend, who was kind of a bad boy. They did like search Susie's room, and they found like a satanic kind of book. I don't know about you, but I think teenagers have random shit lying around everywhere all the time anyway, so I don't really think that a satanic book means anything. I used to have dark shit all the time. I don't think it's anything. I currently have chip black nails. Like, I don't think that's not something that would raise a red flag to me, is having, like, if she had like a whole room decorated like that and a bleeding rabbit into a bowl ready to perform a ritual, then we'd be suspicious. But she had broken up with her bad boy boyfriend, whose name was Declan Reckler, as he had been arrested for vandalizing a local cemetery and grave robbing. Him and a few friends stole, I think it was gold, like gold fillings out of the dead people's teeth. So they removed the fillings from their teeth, and then they would like try to pawn them and sell them. And so his gang, like the people that he was with, did actually suspect Susie for turning them in, but there was no evidence like at all to link them to the disappearances. Sorry, I'm just trying to decide what lipstick to wear. To link them to the disappearances, there was quite literally just no evidence at all. So they did have a sighting, not so much a sighting where they're like, oh my god, they're over here right now, let's go and get them. More of a, oh, I saw them 2 weeks ago on the day that they went missing, which is a little unfortunate. Okay, a lot unfortunate, because this person didn't come forward until like 2 weeks later, which honestly kind of sucks ass. So 2 weeks later, someone reported seeing Susie the morning that they disappeared, driving a green van 2 miles from the house. She noted that Susie did look scared, and that she heard a man yelling and threatening her from the back. That lead goes cold, basically. It doesn't go anywhere. Unfortunately, they don't really get anything out of it, because literally all they had to go on was green van. Couldn't find a green van, anything like that. There was some seriously crazy theories that had been called into the police station. There was then a tip about someone called Robert Cox. He was a highly trained soldier, and he was actually convicted in Florida for abducting and killing a 19-year-old named Sharon Zellers. The verdict, I don't know what this means, but it says that the verdict was reversed and he was given to Californian authorities. Like I said, I really don't know what reversed like means. Like, I mean, I understand what the word reversed, like what the actual meaning of it is. Like, I get that I'm not a complete moron. But like, how do you reverse a verdict? Like, I know you can get acquitted, but like, so what? They just were like, nah, we never should have done the trial. We're extraditing you to California. Like, is that how that happened? I don't really know, and I really want to know. So if you guys can let me know. This lash is not happening for me. He served 9 years for abducting 2 women. And it gets kind of, Robert Cox just gets kind of weird, you know? Like, he gets quite odd, to say the least. He worked, so basically they're like, oh, he's in a different bloody state, because Springfield is in Missouri. And obviously he was in California, and he was given to California by Florida. So he was in prison in California for abducting 2 girls. So he was in there for 9 years. But it's known that like when the girls actually went missing in June of 1992, he actually worked at Stacy's dad's dealership. So he had seen Stacy, he had met Stacy, like they just have a feeling, you know? And then when Robert was asked about it, he said, I just know that they are dead, were his words. And when he was pressed for more info, so he never actually confessed to anything, and when he was pressed for more info, he basically said that he would tell everybody what happened when his mum passed away. His mum's currently 82 years old, I believe. And yeah, he's like, I mean, they don't have anything on him technically other than the fact that he worked at Stacy's dad's, or he was at Stacy's dad's dealership. But he did say that he was at church with his girlfriend in the morning after they disappeared, which she confirmed, but she did later recant that, saying that that's what he told her to say. He did say that he was at home with his parents the night of the murder, which they did confirm. But I mean, the girls left their party at 2 a.m. Like, your parents would have been asleep. Would they have even noticed you come and go? If you did, like, I think that's the shitty excuse ever. That's the worst alibi. Yeah, I was at home with my parents. Right, do you sleep next to them? No. Kathy Bear is someone who is investigating. I don't know if she's a journalist. I'm not entirely sure, not 100% sure what she is or what she does. But she basically said that I really could have looked up what Kathy Bear did, but screw me for being lazy. I was trying to wrap my head around this case because it is no shit mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. So Kathy Bear got a tip from someone, which the police did not take seriously at all. So the tip was basically that they were buried in a parking lot under the cement. The police honestly did not take this seriously at all. They said that the timeline didn't match up because the parking lot they were talking about was built 1 year after the girls went missing. And she was like, oh, what if the parking lot was just built on top of them? He's like, oh, well, there would have been like excavation and stuff. So, you know, they would have been found basically during construction. Kathy was not a fan of this answer. So she hired someone to go through. She hired a guy to do GPR, which is ground penetrating radar. He went through and he found 3 anomalies that were the same as when he went over old graves. So there was 2 like this and then 1 like this. They were kind of like in a... So basically the police never took it seriously even after that. They never dug it up, so it cost too much money for not enough, I suppose, proof. I mean, I don't know, I think 3 body-shaped anomalies is proof enough. Like, even if it isn't the Springfield Three, there's obviously someone down there, which is what annoys me. It's like, yeah, okay, so even if you don't think that it's a timeline that matches up for the Springfield Three, an expert with a ground-penetrating radar told you that there's bodies down there. Doesn't matter whose they are, mate. Go down and get them. I think I held that in front of my face that whole time. Anyway, doesn't matter. So she basically believes that she believes that she does know what happened, but she is being threatened into silence. So like producers and stuff that were on the show, I don't know, it was some crime reporting show, they were like hella questioning her because they were like, well, like you come on here and you say that, opening a can of beans and not fucking spilling it, you asshole. So she basically says that she believes she knows what happened, but she has been threatened into silence, which is, wow, that's something. So on the 31st of December 1992, someone called into America's Most Wanted. America's Most Wanted, if you don't know what that show is, you're living under a rock. It's a show that basically features like unsolved cases to try and bring awareness to them and stuff. Like, it's a pretty cool show to watch. I love it. But also, like, it gives out like the sketches and the faces and, you know, what they think happened and who was involved and everything like that, so that they could, you know, like if anybody has any information that they didn't know that was important, or that they missed the case when it happened or something like that, like they can call up. So someone called in on the 31st of December in 1992, but the line dropped when the operator tried to put them through. The police did plead to the public, like they did go to the public and be like, yo, call us back, whoever you are, because we want to hear from you. But unfortunately, they never heard anything. So they never got their answers or anything like that, which is really super unfortunate, I think, for everybody really, for the families, for the girls, for everyone. Yeah, it's quite kind of sad, actually. I didn't realise quite how sad reporting on an unsolved case would be, honestly. You talk, like, I mean, the few that I've done were so long ago, and even the serial killer that I'm researching now, which I was actually going to film tonight, but honestly, his case is just a whole heap to just get my head around. I'm not doing him tonight. I'm going to do somebody else that I already had the notes for, but I didn't realise, like, I mean, some of these serial killers that I've done are brutal, and brutal. But just to think that, you know, they could have gone through all of this brutality and then like still nobody knows really what happened to them or where they are. And it is a real shame that the house was cleaned like that, but I think that comes a lot with the time frame that it happened. Like back in the day where, you know, my curfew was this, like I grew up in the 90s and my curfew was the street lights, and you know, I didn't have a phone. My mum couldn't text me every hour to see where I was or what I was doing or who I was with. She just kind of had to trust that I would be home. And as daunting as that sounds now, like there's no fucking way in hell I'd let my kids do that. And that kind of sucks. That they really just thought that they were doing what they needed to do and what was best, and it ended this way. And just knowing that you could have washed away some form of evidence or something kind of sucks. This guy really hit me hard, this one. It's weird. But yeah. So I mean I live in Australia, so probably most of my audience is going to be Australian, I dare say. If you know me, don't hate. If you don't know me, don't hate, but if you, I don't know, if you do know anything, or you are the person from America's Most Wanted that never called back or whatever, please do, I guess. You know, people need closure. People need things. Yeah, now I'm rambling and my husband's going to get shitty at me for continuing to ramble, because he has to like piece it all together like a big jigsaw puzzle. But yeah, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please feel free to subscribe. I would absolutely love it if you did. Press that like button as well. I'm still very new to this. I'm trying. I'm trying. Hopefully you guys have liked what I've done so far. I do know that some of my videos are a bit off. Talking to a camera is a lot harder than I expected it to be. So I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I hope you liked it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.